at the time we probably didn't realise. There were games probably during that year that, hey, maybe we should have won, and we came pretty close to, but yeah, I think we lost 5 in a row at that time. So, but yeah, I guess we bounced back pretty quickly and learned a lot from that, you know, and then rocked into 99, I guess, and did all right until the World Cup.
Well, strangely, for someone who played a lot of tests, you won an only World Cup. You just missed in 95 and you didn't last till 99, you know, so till 03 rather. So
didn't last, yeah.
Didn't last, which is another story. But tell me about 99, your memories when you were asked to play centre.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, hindsight's a great thing, and we can all live off hindsight and think, you know, it could have been this or that, but it is what it was. And at the time, Hardy came down and we had a game of golf, and he asked me, you know, how do you feel about playing centre? And I was like, well, yeah, I'll play anywhere, you know. Now, if I had turned back the clock, I'll probably say, well, you know, I haven't played centre at that level. I played centre when I was a schoolboy, which is a bit different to international and Super Rugby level. And you know, I love watching Ben Smith play, but when he plays in the midfield, he's probably not as dynamic or as good as what he plays when he's out wide. So yeah, I was just playing and doing it because it was best for the team.
But you felt your optimum or the best position for you was probably fullback. You felt more natural there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's where I've been playing. I mean, that's the last, whatever it was, since 96, that's where I play. And obviously I had a few games on the wing, which I didn't mind because they're pretty similar, you know, wing and fullback, and you could roam and do all that sort of stuff. But, I mean, centre, I think, takes time. And Conrad, you know, you look at Conrad Smith now, he's taken time to become what he is today, you know, one of the best centres in the world. You know, defensively, it's a massive job, centre. And probably whether or not me playing centre was the losing of the World Cup, I don't think so, because I hadn't watched that game in '99 until probably the World Cup we had here, where they were replaying all these games in semi-finals, and I actually sat down and watched it at the gym when I was on a treadmill. I was forced to watch it, and there are a lot of mistakes in that French game. Again, you know, some of the senior boys made mistakes, and
that must have seemed bizarre on the field to have had that lead and then just see it evaporate so quickly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was. I mean, I guess, yeah, not that it was probably in our minds, but you know, a lot of people say you just run out there thinking that we just had to go out there and play and the game will be won. I don't think we, as All Blacks or as players, I don't think you ever think that. You have to go out and do the work. I don't know. When I watched that game, we had a great first half, and you know, Jonah got his tries, and then, you know, that second half, I think the French just played good rugby. They played out of their skin. They got a bit of luck, which you need in rugby when you're chasing the game, which they were. But they played smart rugby. They took their penalties, they took their drop goals, and 3 points, then 6 points, and then they got a lucky bounce. You know, the ball bounced out of Mertz's hands, and the guys, you know, it's just things, and momentum in rugby is a massive thing, and they just had momentum for whatever it was, 25 minutes, where they got 30-odd points.
You mentioned one guy there a couple of times who you've played with a lot, Jonah Lomu, who you played with the Hurricanes and the All Blacks. I mean, what was it like watching that guy from your perspective at fullback, seeing this guy, the damage that he could create? On our side, he was great. Yeah, I was lucky because I only played, I think, against him once. And it wasn't on the Sevens field, it was on the our first game in Palmerston North, sort of the Hurricanes versus the Blues. And Jonah was on the wing and Tana was marking him. So I was like, good luck. Good luck, Tana. But Tana actually did quite a good job there. But yeah, I mean, when he was fit, he just devastated. And I knew, I mean, as a player and as a fullback, that when he got the ball, I could just beamline into certain points because I knew that Jonah would beat, you know, the first guy, the second guy, the third guy, and that's where I used to, you know, take a fat man's track and picked up a lot of tries off guys like Jonah and Tana and Alama, because you knew that they'd create space for you because of, you know, people trying to get them. And Jonah, I mean, extraordinary. Geez, when he was fit, he was unreal. And even to see him play when he was unwell, still I mean, hey, not many people knew about that, and he still sort of got out there and caused havoc. What about yourself? You, at some stage, it must have been about now, was your knee starting to give you trouble? Was it?
Yeah, I mean, look, when I was 16, I injured my knee, and they took the cartilage out on one side. So since I was 16, I've had bone on the outside. So it lasted quite a long time, considering.
Right.
I think now if you hurt your cartilage, they sew it up, and it's a longer recovery, but you've still got cartilage there, so there's a bit of sponge. So, yeah, I guess that has been, later on in my career, the knee was starting to get a bit sore, and had a few spurs and little chips sort of floating around, and the knee was locking up, and I guess it does slow you down a little bit.
And it was part of the reason that a new coach, John Mitchell and Robbie Dean, said that eventually they decided that you weren't part of their team. Was that very disappointing for you? Did you still think you could contribute at that stage to the All Blacks?
Yeah, I mean, what year was that? I
02?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I went all right. He had a pretty good Super Rugby season and NPC, and I think the reasoning, wasn't just my knee. I remember reading it in the paper somewhere the first time I'd seen it, and there was things coming out that, I couldn't catch, tackle, high ball kick. There was about 5 things, and I thought, geez, if I can't do all these 5 things, what am I doing actually playing the game of rugby? So, and that's the funny thing, is that's the first time I actually seen the reasons why I wasn't there, which was a surprise. But as I said before, it is what it is, and coaches come and go, and they're in there, and they have people that they want to pick and people that they don't. There's a lot of good players in New Zealand that have never played for the All Blacks, and a lot of people think that they should have. That's just the way it is.
Well, once your rugby was done, you've sort of turned to, you went overseas, finished off in Ireland, that sort of thing. But when you've come back, you've sort of taken a bit of a shine to golf, this game of golf, haven't you? Tell us about that. You play at Paraparam?
Yeah, Paraparam Beach links course. I think it was rated in the in the top 100, I think, in the world at some stage. And it's rated, I think, top 4 or 5 in New Zealand. So
Must be.
Yeah, it is. It might be top 2. I don't know. It's one of those ones. But I've always loved golf. I probably started playing a lot when we started touring in '96, and I guess when you travel as a All Black or with the Super Rugby guys, you get time off, and you can't be doing rugby all the time, and you get sick of going up Table Mountain or seeing the Big Ben or touristy things, which I wasn't really big on. So.
Right.
You got spoiled a bit, so you got to play some pretty.
So it's got you hooked, this game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, geez, you go to Ireland, and geez, you could spend months in Ireland and work from the south to the north, and man, some golf courses there are unreal. So I played a bit over there. I had a few injuries, but my injuries over in Ireland allowed me to play golf. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. You're low single figures now. I mean, do you want to take it a bit more seriously, or is it still a social game for you?
It's a bit of both, really. I mean, I'd love to. Once again, hindsight is a great thing. I mean, we caught up with Michael Campbell was in town not long ago, and talking to him, and he's play for another couple of years, might have a couple off, and then he'll be 50, then he'll be on the seniors tour and can play till he's 65 or whenever. So I mean, longevity in golf is great. I mean, and it's for everyone. I mean, I can be off for 2, but play someone off for 18, and they can still take the money off you, if you know what I mean. So I love it. I mean, it's I'd love to take it seriously, but to take it seriously, you need time.
Yeah.
You need practice.
Well, I tell you what, we loved watching you play rugby when you were serious about that game. You brought us some great deal of enjoyment. Nice to talk to you about that again.
Cheers, man. No worries.
Cheers, man.